Chapter 2217, Zhu Yu vs. Mitre 5. The ability to steal other people's abilities? Damn it. Meteor gritted his teeth and cursed. It was really a headache to meet such a person with special abilities, because that means she can't analyze weaknesses based on the other person's abilities. But she was not in a hurry. She opened her mouth and blew a whirlwind in the direction of Zhu Yu. The whirlwind quickly formed a violent storm, and Zhu Yu's body was inevitably blown far away. Zhu Yu lifted the smoke incarnation. This time, a pair of black wings grew out from her back, and she flew upstream in the storm. Mitre's eyes grew darker. How should she deal with this guy with endless abilities? She was now extremely distressed. But at this time, Zhu Yu's eyes looking at her had changed. Wind, rain, thunder, and lightning, the ability to control celestial phenomena, that's all it is. After all, you are not me. It is impossible for you to have more abilities. So, that's the end of it. The information Zhang Yi gave to Zhu Yu was that Middle, the son of weather, could control celestial phenomena. It's just that Zhu Yu confirmed it himself first. As for how to deal with her, Zhu Yu had many ideas in his mind, and now it was time to put them into practice. Wind, rain, thunder, and lightning. Its strongest attack is thunder, and its defense is wind. As for its own defense, it's not worth mentioning. The scar left by the thunder had not yet healed completely, so Zhu Yu probably figured out the other party's background. Just need to break through the wind barrier. Flutter. Zhu Yu flapped its wings and flew up. Beneath the black wings, her body was also changing rapidly. Beast Man ability, Frigate Bird. She turned into a pitch-black bird with red feathers on her belly. In the endless storm, the body turned into a long, black arrow due to the wind pressure. One of the fastest birds in the world, it also has powerful wind-breaking capabilities. Zhu Yu was flying, and her speed was so fast that Meteor could hardly catch her. He only felt that the sky was full of black lines. The black light enveloped the body of the frigate bird, and the air made a sharp hissing sound as it cut through the sky. She was flying, moving at high speed around Mithil. Meteor turned around quickly, but her movements and naked eyes could not keep up with the speed of the frigate bird. The wind barrier cannot be maintained at all times, otherwise it will consume a lot of supernatural energy. What's more, she had no idea from which direction the other party would launch the attack. This means that unless she maintains a wind barrier at all angles of her body at all times, Zhu Yu could strike through her chest at any time. Meteor became extremely nervous at this time, and she admitted that she was really a little panicked. Panic at this time will turn into anger. Damn ground bugs, come out and fight me if you have the guts. She quickly created one violent storm after another, and drew out huge thunder from the dark clouds above the sky, attacking fiercely in the direction of Zhu Yu. But all she saw was the afterimage of the frigate bird on her retina. When she launched her attack, Zhu Yu was no longer there. All the attacks were in vain. Meteor became more and more panicked and began to indiscriminately attack everything around him. Zhu Yu was very patient, waiting for her to show a flaw before attacking. Finally, she waited for this opportunity. There was a not-so-obvious flaw on the right side of Meteor's body, right under her armpit. The frigate bird's eyes immediately became sharp. She spread her wings and flapped them from the sky, then dived down like a sharp arrow. The speed was beyond words. All I saw was a black line in the sky crossing a long distance and then arriving near Mitre in an instant. Her wind barrier was unable to stop Zhu Yu's attack and was torn open. Then the sharp bird beak aimed at her right armpit and pecked at it. This blow can tear Meteor's body into two halves directly from the chest. When Zhu Yu was close, he could even feel Meteor's gaze. But there was no fear in the other person's eyes, but a hint of mockery. Zhu Yu had no time to think about anything, because she, who had transformed into a frigate bird, was so fast that she passed through Meteor's body in the blink of an eye. Yes, it passed through. It passed through Middle's body, like passing through smoke. There was no sense of reality. The Middle in front of him was not his real body at all, but an illusion. The so-called control of celestial phenomena is the familiarity with and application of natural forces. Miter's abilities are not limited to the application of basic astronomical phenomena such as wind, rain, thunder, and lightning. And there is Skylight. She can distort light within a certain range of herself, creating illusions. This includes making the enemy think she is in a certain location, but in fact, she is in another nearby area. When Juyu passed through the light, she felt a dangerous aura enveloping her. It was something stirring deep within the earth. Boom! A torrent suddenly rushed out from the depths of the earth and directly hit Juyu's body. An extremely huge water dragon completely submerged Juyu's body. In the void, the light was distorted, and Meteor, whose form was thus invisible, sneered in his heart. Since I've noticed you're not good at dealing with water, I naturally use this method to deal with you. Now you've brought it upon yourself. The rolling torrent completely swallowed up the Reju tree, and then slammed fiercely into the deepest part of the earth. I'll carry you deep into the earth's core. Even if I can't kill you, I can at least destroy the armor on you. A creature from land, coming more than 20,000 meters underground, I don't believe you can adapt to the environment here. It would be better to just drown you. Juyu's body was swept away by the huge torrent. In such a huge current, she could hardly move and was carried to the depths of the earth for a while. Zhang Yi once commented on Juyu's abilities. It was because of a question from Zhou Ke. Zhou Ke said, "She has so many abilities, which are unfathomable. Will she become a huge threat one day?" Zhang Yi heard this and simply smiled. She lacks the experience to truly face off against powerful opponents. Zhu Zheng thinks he's protecting her, but in reality, he's also severing her chance to become a top-tier extraordinary person. Besides, he shook his head, more abilities isn't necessarily better. Think about how Yuan Kongye died. Having too many abilities that come from the past is not a good thing. The more diverse they are, the harder it is to master them, and they will actually become a burden. It's like the original Empty Night. Chapter 22:18 Liu Karen vs. Wood. The entire East City area of the Wulwan Empire. There were no living people on the streets anymore. The huge East City district is equivalent to the size of 5 Tianhai cities, but now, most of the lizard men have either been killed or fled to the border of East City district, trying to escape to the Central City district. And this huge area became a battlefield. Wood, the garrison commander of the Southern Urban Military District, is a young man with silver hair. He wore a mask on his face and stood at the edge of the front line, responsible for helping the Lizardman troops resist the invasion of the Huashu Human Coalition forces. Right in front of him, a huge mechanical life form as huge as a hill slowly moved towards him. Every step it takes causes the earth to shake violently. The dense energy cannon firing holes on the mechanical body poured out rays of death, taking away a large number of Wulwan Empire soldiers. Wood's eyes were fixed on the oversized mechanical life form. If this continues, defeat on the front line is only a matter of time. They're so far behind the Songyuan clan in the field of technology that they cannot compete at all. Only high-level mutants can save the situation. Moreover, ordinary high-level mutants can't do anything to them. The energy shield has a restraining effect on superpowers, and most of the energy will be dissipated. Unless it is some special ability, or close combat between enhancement type and beastman type ability users, it can be effective. Watching the Wulwan Empire's army retreat step by step, a large number of lizardmen soldiers died tragically before their eyes. If this continues, the entire Dongcheng district defense line will be completely collapsed within half a day. When the time comes, it will be the Imperial City's turn. Wood took off his mask and took a deep breath. Normally, he is a man of few words because he cannot speak easily. Once he says something, it's easy to have a bad reaction. Looking at the super-large mechanical life form more than 10 kilometers away, Wood's lips began to move. Decay. The words that came out of the lizard man's mouth sounded like a hissing sound to the ears of land people. The voice was not loud, but after he said it, it turned into several distorted characters and flew towards the super-large mechanical life form in the distance. It arrived in an instant, passing through the energy shield of the super-large mechanical life form without any hindrance and landed on it. This is not an ability in the form of energy, but a rule. The moment the black characters fell on the super-large mechanical life form, the originally solid and heavy body of the super-large mechanical life form suddenly became as if it had experienced the baptism of many years. The paint on the surface peeled off inch by inch, and the metal on it also decayed and yellowed. As if countless termites were gnawing at a piece of wood, the limbs of the super-large mechanical life form were corroded over most of its area, and then it collapsed because it could not support the main body above. Boom. Boom. One or two limbs were completely corroded and began to decay from the middle, and then the entire body collapsed. A powerful war fortress was directly destroyed, its mobility was destroyed, and it was turned into a bunker. This is Wood's ability, Word Spirit. When you activate your ability, everything you say will become reality. That's the theory. However, the ability exerted must be within the scope of its power. If the ability is overused, it may backfire on itself when it touches an indestructible object. In other words, when using one's own intentions to change the operating rules of the material world, if one encounters something with stronger rules, the material world will forcibly correct them and erase them as a bug. Therefore, Wood was originally a talkative person, but since he awakened his ability, he almost stopped speaking. When he opens his mouth to speak, he is ready to kill. Wood destroyed a super-large mechanical life form with one blow, rendering it unable to move, and it could no longer serve as a war fortress to provide cover for the Hwashu National Coalition forces. This greatly reduced the burden on the Wulwan Empire's army. The Lizardmen soldiers watched the steel behemoth run down, and they were all encouraged and delighted. Long live Commander Wood. That war fortress is fallen. Let's counterattack. Wood was not careless. He hid in the military formation and did not show up easily. Instead, he glanced around cautiously. Once he takes action, he will definitely be discovered by the powerful aliens of the Hwashu Kingdom Coalition forces. Then the other party will definitely launch an offensive against him. So, he had to wait and see. But Wood waited for a long time, but the enemy did not show up. However, those fearless mechanical life forms continued to rush forward, and the battlefield turned into a meat grinder. Even without the protection of super-large mechanical life forms, the current army of the Wulwan Empire would find it difficult to compete with them. Wood frowned, but he had to attack again. Destroy. He opened his mouth and scolded softly. A string of huge black runes flew out of his mouth and crashed into the mechanical life form army like a huge rock. Boom! The terrifying power of rules rushed past, and even if those mechanical life forms with steel bones activated their energy shields, they were completely unable to resist. A large number of mechanical life forms were smashed to pieces, with parts flying everywhere. At this moment, high in the sky above the battlefield, a gray crow turned its eyes and saw everything here. In the rear, in the headquarters of the Hwashu Coalition forces, Lu Karen sat in the control room. The entire battlefield was under her control. The gray crow that was released was a small mechanical life form she created. The person chosen by Yang Xinshin specifically to target Wood was her, Lu Karen. Lu Karen is not on the front line of the battlefield now, and her abilities do not require her to go into battle personally. After locking onto the area where Wood was, Lu Karen's eyes slowly widened. His already large and beautiful eyes now sparkled like two precious gems. That was the glow of excitement. She has to rely on her own abilities to fight against a powerful black chariot-class, silver-armored general. We must break through Wood and tear apart this front line of the Wulwan Empire. The power of the word spirit, huh? Well, let's do it. Her hands clicked rapidly on the huge operating table, leaving almost after images. And as she controlled it, the gray crow flying in the sky flapped its wings and leaped away into the distance. Soon more and more crows appeared. This is not just one crow, but a very large flock of crows. Looking around, there are densely packed, thousands and thousands of them. They were flying at a very fast speed, and this scene quickly attracted Wood's attention. He raised his head and looked towards the sky. Are those the battle machines of the 6th generation? Stay with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.